Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Well, there has been an update in that tragedy that happened in Hood County, Texas. I'm going to share that with you and a couple of encounters. Before we do that, a couple links. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. All these links are in the description below. I also just produced and narrated my first audiobook, written by Tom Lyons, called Dogman, Frightening Encounters, Volume 1. Volume 2 and 3 will be out shortly. That link is in the description as well. Also, I have a second channel for creepypasta, fanfiction, and scary voice acting, stories that they don't fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything you're into, follow that link. Give those stories a listen. You may just like what you hear. Now, I've taken enough of your time. Let's get on with today's upload. Shall we? Alright guys, so early this morning I was checking on things and came across a headline from Hood County stating that now one agency is stating that the individual was not attacked at all, but homicide and suicide had been ruled out. This gentleman was just not attacked by a mountain lion. And one agency saying it was either a mountain lion or another animal. So, who knows? But I did make a call to the Hood County Sheriff's Station. Here's that call.
Hood County Sheriff's Office, Georgianne.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you today?
Oh, just fine. What can I help you with?
Just got a quick question. In regards to the attack on the 28-year-old gentleman in Hood County, at first they were thinking it was a mountain lion. Now they're saying it might be another kind of wild animal. What kind of other wild animal possibly could it be?
I don't know. Let me transfer you. Well, actually, you'll have to call back after 1.
After 1?
Because the investigators that are working on that are out at lunch.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Right.
So I did end up calling back, and I was transferred to a detective, and I left a message. I'm hoping that I will get a call back. I'm not 100% sure I will. I may try again to call tomorrow. I don't really want to be a burden, take time away from the investigation, obviously, by talking to me. But as you heard the woman, I'm sure there's clamor throughout, people talking. She was a little hesitant to, you could hear it in her voice. Anyway, this is the news article that was released today. Hood County Sheriff Office is warning residents of possible mountain lion in Lippin after a man was found dead following an attack this week. But Texas Park and Wildlife said none of the evidence reviewed by Texas Park and Wildlife Department indicates an attack by a mountain lion or another wild animal. Around 3:30 Thursday, deputies were called to a 15,000 block of Howell Road after 28-year-old Christopher Allen Whiteley was reported missing. Deputies were told Whiteley had not been seen since early Wednesday morning. After searching the wooded area nearby, deputies found his body. The sheriff said that Whiteley's body was transported to the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's office for an autopsy. Preliminary reports said he died from wild animal attack, possibly a mountain lion. The sheriff's office then contacted a government trapper with the USDA along with Texas game wardens to help locate the mountain lion. Texas Park and Wildlife said Sunday they do not believe Whiteley was killed by a mountain lion. Hood County officials said they are standing by the preliminary results of the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's Office, but are still investigating. Update. Hood County says they are standing by Tarrant Medical Examiner's report and have no more sightings, but still investigating. There is not any evidence of a predatory attack by a mountain lion at that location where the victim was found. A United States Department of Agriculture Wildlife Service trapper also evaluated the evidence and came to the same conclusion our staff, Texas Park and Wildlife, said in a written statement Sunday. Later, the department clarified that none of the evidence indicated an attack by an animal at all. In the past 100 years, there have been around 30 mountain lion killings in the United States, according to Texas Park and Wildlife, none of which had been in Texas. There have been a couple of non-deadly attacks in western part of the state. Sightings of bobcat and large cats have been going on for years, Hood County Sheriff Roger Deeds said Sunday night. But this has never happened where a person was attacked. Last week, officials confirmed an unrelated sighting of a mountain lion 100 miles away in Rowlett, the first confirmed mountain lion in the Metroplex in the last 20 years. Now, people are coming out and saying, yeah, I had this happen to me. I heard this. I saw this on a game camera, Deeds said. So we're trying to follow up on these instances. Hood County officials say they have ruled out homicide and suicide as a cause of death. It's apparent we have two conflicting reports from two different agencies that are experts in their fields. A Sunday statement from Hood County Sheriff's Office reads, "We stand behind the preliminary findings of Tarrant County Medical Examiner's Office that ruled out suicide and homicide on the death in question. A full autopsy result is pending," Hood County officials state. Residents are asked to be mindful of their surroundings and keep their children and animals inside at night. The safety of Hood County citizens are my priority. But please do not interfere with the process of locating the animal. Stay clear of the area being actively worked by officials, said Hood County Sheriff Roger Deeds. Okay, so we have the sheriff's office stating that it is a mountain lion or a possible other wild animal that attacked this gentleman. Suicide and homicide has been ruled out. Yet the Department of Conservation and Wildlife Services are saying, no, there was no wild animal attack here. So it seems to me that the sheriff's office are at least trying to figure out and be as honest as possible. Having the channel, sometimes I think about why they'd want to cover up and why they would do this. And, it's not right that they cover it up. No, it's not. But I can see that a mass hysteria would be caused immediately in that area if they said, hey, we've got a 7 to 8 foot tall Dogman creature running around this area. You'd have a lot of Texans with their guns out and about. I mean, I know if that was happening in upstate New York, that's what I'd be doing. But the Texas Wildlife Division just dismissing it completely is just, it's almost like it didn't happen. Well, homicide and suicide have been ruled out, and we're going to rule out animal attack. The guy just died. He just died. Well, the autopsy, a preliminary autopsy, was done. I mean, not fully, but and it clearly states that this poor man died of bites and gashes in his body. So, yeah, both agencies are trying to cover it up, but one agency is at least acknowledging that something terrible happened. And it's sad that the USDA, along with the Texas game wardens, so you got a government game trapper, USDA, and the government game warden, or Texas game warden, saying, no, nothing happened here. 28-year-old just passed away in the woods for no reason. It makes no sense. And I know this doesn't make any sense to you guys. And like I said, I'm going to stay on top of this. I appreciate subscribers who have been sending stuff in. Like I said in the emails, I've been on this all morning trying to get in touch with one of the investigators, and hopefully I will soon. Today's first encounter, Cherokee County, Oklahoma. We were driving down one of the roads in the GMA when something in 2 strides crossed the road, stepped over the ditch, knelt down, did a half-body turn. Not just turned its head, but turned its whole upper body and looked straight at us. It was creepy. It looked at us, stood up, and took off into the trees. We were in shock. It was definitely unexpected. One of those things where every hair you have stands up. It was about 6.5 to 7 feet tall, long, dark hair except for its face area, and I'll be honest, it scared me. It looked like a human. It had thick build. Its arms and legs moved differently. Not like a monkey scurrying around. Its thick arms and legs were in a stride. They moved together. It was unbelievable the way it moved, so smooth and fast. The animal that we saw was crossing from the public hunting area into the small game area, and that is only open at certain times of the year, and that wasn't it. Today's second encounter. My encounter happened when I was a teenager, around 2005. I lived in a small village not too far from where my encounter happened in the Balasas Forest in Sinaloa, Mexico. I didn't tell anyone until years later. My friend and I were quite the troublemakers, I will not lie, and we decided to go off on our own. We went to the Balasas Forest, and we didn't go there to camp, but we did mess around and played until dark came. I was never fearful of the dark. It never gave me a fear. So as it began to get dark, we were fine, and it wasn't unusual for me to just wander off and to go to my friends without telling my mom. Like I said, I was pretty bad back then, and I never listened to my mother anyway. Now, the forest was hot and humid, so we had no shirts on. We took them off and casually hung them around our shoulders. We wore shorts and sandals. I was actually tormenting a snake with a stick while my friend laughed at me. The dark came, yet the whole moon shone bright down through the trees. So it was okay, we could still see. We put our shirts on as it was getting colder at night. We were getting ready to leave, and I thought I knew everything back then. I was very wrong. We heard footsteps off in front of us somewhere, but they were so heavy. Not really like a human, yet clearly 2-footed steps. We were more interested in seeing what it was, and my friend suggested we hide in the foliage to scare whatever it was, a person or an animal. We just wanted to have fun. We got into the foliage and giggled to each other and watched, waiting. The thuds became louder, and it came out into the opening so fast like a raging bull. It was not a bull. Now we're terrified. This beast was around 7 feet tall, maybe more. It was black and gray, like silver in places. Its fur was matted and horrible, with a smell like I've never smelled again. I cannot describe the smell, but it made me retch. The ears were pointed. We never said a word to each other as we stared at it, sniffing the air like a wolf on the scent of its prey. You could see defined body muscles and arms. Yes, arms and hands with very long, unusual fingers with claws. Had a very long snout. You could see it had fang-like teeth, dog-like in many ways, but much too big. It had backwards bent back legs and the strangest feet I have ever seen, elongated with 3 toes, huge toes. It looked so strange, it then suddenly snapped its head towards us and stared with intent of evil. You could tell its eyes were amber and slanted looking. We just ran. We didn't know what else to do. We had made a big mistake because it was now dark to see clearly, and in all the panic we thought we were lost. We just went to the nearest large tree and climbed as far as we could. We sat there in the dark listening to thudding steps through the forest. We stayed huddled in that tree all night, waiting to be eaten or killed. It never came. The next thing I remember, it was morning. You don't know fear like that, praying in a tree for your life, cold and terrified, being in danger. We could have fallen out of the tree, but that didn't matter. The only thing that mattered was that thing. When the morning came, we knew we were wade back deep in the forest. Funny how fear can change your perception. When I got home, my mom scolded me, shouted, and went on so long about where I had been. I'd never been shouted at like that before. I never told anyone. My friend and I never did until later. My mom thought her shouting changed me, but no, that thing changed me. And I did not stray again. I now live in London, England, but that will stay with me forever. Today's third encounter, Cato, Oklahoma. We were at my lake house where we were living for the past 3 months. We had returned to get some things that we wanted from our house, so we spent a couple of nights gathering our stuff and cleaning a bit. I went outside looking for my cat, and my wife followed. I was in the front yard yelling, "Tigger, Tigger!" My wife went to the backyard and started yelling. Then out of nowhere, she hears this hoot owl. Hoo, hoo, hoot! It was loud. It sounded close to me, and I was in the front yard. But she said it came from not more than 10 feet from her. She stopped, startled. Then another went off from the other direction, even closer. She comes running to the front yard. We weren't more than 15 yards apart to begin with, and I kind of met her 3/4 of the way at the front corner of the house. She's like, "Oh my God, did you hear that? 2 owls right there above me." Doesn't sound that creepy, but in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere with no flashlight, it will startle you. I said, "Yeah, I heard it. What was it?" She said it sounded like owls, but owls are territorial and are never that close unless they're mating. Just as she said that, everywhere around us started hooting, 20 to 30 different ones, loud like a stereo turned all the way up. And then some of the calls turned to jungle noises like monkeys and toucans, all kinds of sounds. And in the middle of some of those calls, ways sounded almost like a human laughing, but kind of like in an insane way. It just kept getting louder and louder until it almost pierced our eardrums. Then there was complete silence. The crickets and bugs started back in, and I heard a twig snap. We hurriedly got into the car and put it in reverse, then peeled out, if you can do that on dirt. On the way down the drive, no more than 20 yards from our house, I saw an outline of some big dark colored, but what I remember were those eyes. They almost glowed. Alright guys, there you have it. A couple terrifying encounters and an update on that poor guy who was taken away so tragically from life. I'm going to stay on this. I'm looking forward to speaking to the sheriff. Hopefully I can get an answer from him, and he can at least kind of lie to me in a better way. I don't know, guys. I'm not expecting to call back and him to say, yeah, Dogman did this. But, oh well, it's worth a try, right, guys? Anyway, thanks for all the support, and have a great day, alright? Cheers.